Before we hit the charts, we're going to do a webinar next Tuesday on our crypto trading alert system. Going to be going over some examples of the best alerts to be using in this current market environment, as well as highlighting the features and things like that. There will be a free month trial for anyone that signs up, because the ideal way to advertise things is say, here, try it for free. And if it works and you make money, pay for it with the money that you make and keep using it. So we'll get more details on that next week, but there's a link in the comments of the video. Check it out. Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today. So the dollar had a second red day in a row, pulling back towards EMA 12 support. The 4-hour downtrend that I was talking about in yesterday's video that we needed to see for the bears to have some follow through has confirmed. Clear 4-hour downtrend and still a clear daily uptrend. So where the question is, how much do we pull back before we set the daily high or low? Can the bulls maintain the daily uptrend into continuation? Or is it a big enough pullback to then set up a daily downtrend? With the dollar red, we must have seen a green day in stocks, right? Nope. So bearish for the broader market. The fact that the dollar is weak, relatively speaking, of course, it's weak, and the stock market was down 2+% today, 2 to 3%, is notable. S&P 500, there's a little bit of a megaphone pattern on the futures chart here. Uptrending resistance line, downtrending support line. That support did not come into play today, but if we see another leg down, I will be keeping an eye on it. And again, I'm just keeping the same mindset. I'm just not trading bullish. And I know that there's bull moves. Yesterday had a lot of bull action, and I will take small day trades for the bulls, but it's minimal. It's 1 out of every 4 trades that I'm taking. And I'm just trading bearish. And we know that on big bearish days like today, when all major sectors are dropping at the lows, we scout midday hourly lower highs. The weakest days have a morning dump, a midday hourly lower high, which is oftentimes a bear flag, and then weakness into the close. Today, we had that. We had the hourly bear flag and we had the lower low, but we also had a bounce at the end of the day. My point is, if you miss the initial drop down on weakness, you can just wait for the lower high. And so here was an example. Sweetie pants busting through. So here's an example where we have a 15-minute uptrend confirming with no follow through. The 15-minute candle that confirms it has an upper wick and goes right into consolidation. We had a 5-minute uptrend. We know in the 5-minute uptrend being lost, it's the first indication of an hourly lower high being set. Little bull flag attempt, lower high, lower low. And then from there, we just roll over. So as soon as I see the weakness, at the end of the video yesterday, I said if we open higher, I'm looking bearish for hourly consolidation. If we open lower, I'm looking bullish for hourly higher lows. After the first 10 minutes of trading today, nope, I'm not trading bullish today. Just completely write it off. And as soon as I do that, my clarity becomes way more clear. It means I sit on my hands most of the morning and I wait for a bounce, but it also means that I'm not constantly trying to play counter trend. But when all of our major sectors are dropping, QQQ, XLV, XLF, and hitting the lows at the same time, for me, that is a statement from the bears. And I make note of that for the day. And I wasn't fully trading today. I was just poking in every couple hours. So did not get any really meaningful trades, but did protect. My long-term no-touch SPY was dropping and have a bearish position to cover that. And then a little bit. But overall, not an active trading day for me. And I knew I was going to be gone when this hourly bounce was taking place, but that's definitely would have been the only trade that I would have attempted on the day. If I don't get the morning first thing, I just wait for the hourly lower high. NASDAQ, weaker than the S&P 500 today. Technically, the S&P 500 is a daily inside bar on the futures chart. We didn't break the low of yesterday. Obviously, it's looking bleak. It's pretty much the weakest close we've seen. The NASDAQ was weaker. We did break to a lower low. So bears stronger in the NASDAQ. But again, it's just the hourly downtrend as our guide. If we look at QQQ, hourly bounce at the end of the day, anything under 273.27, just a lower high. What did we not see yesterday? We did not see an hourly uptrend. When you do not change the trend on the way up, you do not establish supports. Imagine if you're building a tower and you're just building a single column on the way up. It's so easy to tip that over as opposed to building supports or stairs or whatever you want to call it on the way up. And that happened on the hourly, and we rolled over and lost it all. Look at the daily. Remember this bounce? Gave it all back. Where was the support established on the way up? Sure, there were some hourly supports established, but from a daily perspective, there was no high or low. It was just a bounce, gave it all back. Remember the weekly? A bounce. Where's our trend change? Where's the established support on the way up? Gave it all back. You have to change those trends. There is a reason that I am constantly talking about trends and higher lows and higher highs. They are extremely important for confidence in follow through. So we are in a downtrend on all time frames. And pretty much now at this point, we need to break the highs of yesterday for me to open the door and say, okay, I can look for some bull trades. SMH, because it is correlated with QQQ, bear break to lower lows, one of the weaker sectors, sideways for 4 days into those fresh lows. Tesla, big drop, daily bear flag confirmed. And now it's all about 265.74. That's a double bottom. I've been highlighting how Tesla and Netflix have had very similar charts on the weekly. And over the last 2 days, they have dramatically shifted. And if you look at Netflix, Netflix had the same pullback. The bounce was much more significant, and the weakness today was much less significant. There was a nice top fish today with the high of yesterday, failing to break it by more than 40 cents. But considering what happened today, Netflix bulls definitely consider this a win and trying to keep the daily higher lows going. So still keeping an eye on Netflix as a lead bull. Again, CCJ has my eye as a lead bull. Daily inside bar today. Clearly held up better than most. If we change the daily trend, it's our weekly higher low being set. So there are names that I'm keeping an eye on where, okay, if I get some bull signals in the broader market and I open the door to then looking bullish, I'm watching Netflix, I'm watching CCJ, I'm watching the names that have that relative strength. But not yet. XLV, really the only hope for the bulls here is that XLV and XLF hold the lows of the week and break the high of yesterday, which would be a little mini trend change, more notable on the 4 hour, but we are holding those lows at the moment. And again, they were down much less. Healthcare down 0.84%, financial sector down 1.26%, QQQ down 2.88%, down more than twice as much of either of those other two sectors. So I am watching that there is a possibility that some other sectors pick up the dead weight of tech and semiconductors to try and save things in the short term. But I have to see these sectors, XLV and XLF, break the high of today and the high of yesterday over the next few days to successfully play defense, essentially. IWM, same thing, did not break the low of the week. Any name that did not break the low of the week today is holding on a bit stronger. Any name that broke the low of the week is weaker. Semiconductors and QQQ broke. S&P 500 futures did not. And these other sectors I just mentioned have not. So again, it's not enough for me to be bullish. Essentially, at this point, why do I care? I'm gauging how aggressive do I want to be as a bear. If these two sectors hold the week's lows and break the highs of today tomorrow, I'm going to take a step back and not be as aggressive a bear. Biotech sector filled the gap on the pullback. Possible for a daily higher low here. So there's a little bit of relative strength here as well. If we confirm the daily trend change, it'll be very notable. So watching that low of 74.97 closely, bulls need an hourly trend change back in their favor for a daily higher low to try and shape up. So it's another sector that can still hold the low of this week. Oil, watching for a daily lower high, hitting EMA 12, which we've rejected from a bunch. Anything under 86.68 is a daily lower high. And we'll need the trend change for bulls to prove anything on the daily chart. And natural gas sideways the last 4 days, nothing going on here. Have to break 712 for a daily bounce to be underway. So if we have red tomorrow, I'll be keeping an eye on the S&P 500's falling wedge, or I should say broadening wedge that I highlighted. And that'll essentially just be a target for profit-taking bears. I'm not going to be looking to go long there. But there is a big enough bounce here in the end of the day where we could get some overnight upside if we confirm a 30-minute inverse head and shoulders. And then from there, I would just zoom out and scout a 4-hour lower high. Possible for an equilibrium here. I mean, you look at the S&P 500, low of yesterday, high of yesterday, trying for the higher low. Have to bounce overnight for a tightening 4-hour range to try and form. So a couple sectors can save it for the bulls in the short term, but they got to show up tomorrow. And if they do, we would head into next week with a bit more ambiguity for short-term action as far as what to expect the first couple of days of next week. So still waiting for the bulls to prove something to me. But bears also need to prove short-term confidence by seeing these sectors break the low of the week. It would have been a much different kind of day if everything broke the low of the week as opposed to just semiconductors and QQQ. But overall, going to have to see some price action that shifts my bearish mindset. Hope you had a good day. I don't have any new content at this point, so I'll recycle a video from some time in the past. Don't forget to do good things, and we will see you soon. I'll probably do a crypto live stream tomorrow.